voice. He placed his hand over her mouth. She peeled it off. "They're coming to get you for what you did." Ben swallowed hard and moved slowly toward the door, wondering if Olive was right. Earlier, he had tied her to a chair in the bathroom and dangled a cockroach in front of her face, then dipped her toothbrush in the toilet. But it seemed like overkill for 4 police officers to be assigned to the case, even if it was a slow Tuesday at the station. Ben opened the door just enough to peek out. "Good afternoon," the policeman said. "Hello," Ben said, squeezing his bottom lip. The officer's hand rested on the butt of a gun nestled in the holster on his right hip. "Your parents in?" Ben shook his head, still looking at the officer through a 30-centimetre gap between door and frame. Ben was pleased to see that being slightly overweight didn't stop you from getting into the force. Ben was slightly overweight himself. His nan said it was from the rotten dinners his parents fed him from the burger chain on the corner. "Can you please tell me where they are?" The murmur of the highway nearby and the low hum of the tall electrical tower in the empty block across the street filled the space between them. "At work." "You sure about that?" "We just need to have a quick word to them," the officer said, looking past Ben into the house. "Mm-hmm. Have you seen them this afternoon at all?" Ben shook his head. "They're at work till 4:30. The officer flipped open a small notebook with a leather cover. "Ray Silver Motor Wreckers, 137 Hope Street?" Ben nodded. The female officer returned. "No one round there," she said, posting a tight-lipped smile to Ben. "Thank you for your help," said the man, and they turned to go. "Do you want me to give them a message?" Ben asked. "No, we'll catch up with them," said the lady officer. They walked quickly into the rain and up the cracked concrete path past the 3 rusted doorless cars that sat in the long grass of the Silvers' front yard. Golden, a 3-legged sandy-coloured Kelpie cross, was tied up to one of the decaying cars. She barked excitedly at the officers as they climbed into their vehicles. The hum of the electrical tower was swallowed by the roar of the police cars as they sped off up Cooper Street. Ben Silver closed the door and stood there, not knowing what to do. Sweat trickled down both sides of his forehead. "Are they going to put you in jail?" Olive asked. He went to the coffee table and picked up the phone, thoughts whirling. He put the phone down. He squeezed his bottom lip. "What did they want?" Olive asked. "Did they say that dipping your sister's toothbrush in the toilet was a very bad thing to do?" Ben picked the phone up again and dialed the number for the wreckers. The phone rang and rang. He heard tyres skidding on gravel out the front. Chapter 2. The Holiday. "Cop!" Ben's dad called from the car. That was his nickname for Ben, because he asked so many questions. Ben raced to the door and looked out. The green machine, his father's 1967 Valiant 770, was parked half on the road, half on the footpath. Painted flames licked the side and bonnet of the car. "Let's go!" Dad shouted. Mum walked quickly toward the house, high heels clattering on the wet path. Olive squeezed past Ben and ran out into the rain to meet her. "Grab a few things to do in the car," Mum said. "We've got a surprise for you." "What is it? What is it?" Olive asked. "If I told you, it wouldn't be a surprise. Quick as you can." Ben thought for a second and headed to his room. He grabbed his school bag, threw in his notebook and pencil, his camera, some batteries. He scurried up the hall, pulled the front door closed, and jammed his feet into a pair of sneakers. He held his backpack over his head as an umbrella and ran up the path. The back door of the car hung open and Olive was inside. Mum slammed the front passenger door and strapped her belt. "See you in 7 minutes," Dad said into his phone. He threw it into Mum's lap. "Turn that off for me. Get in, Ben," he said, revving the engine. The car jerked forward. Ben slid into the back seat. "The police just came to our house," he said, breathless. He heaved the door closed as Dad spun the car around, laying rubber on the road. What are you doing? Where are we going?" No one said anything. "Mum?" "Holidays," Mum said. They'd never been on a holiday before. Ben got up on his knees and looked through the dirty back window. Golden, the tripod dog, was still tied up to the rusted